Alright, so my name is Nick. I taught how to teach. Basically, here's the general gist. Remember, teaching and performance are effectively the same thing. Teaching is a kind of performance. So just like if you choreograph a performance, you want to plan out your teaching. You want to make a lesson plan. You want to know what you're doing. Run it by other people to see what they think of it. Get feedback. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. Without planning, you're going to look like crap. Big things about planning. There's a theory of having goals, objectives, and methods. Goals are lofty and measurable ideas. You want everything in your class to move towards those goals. Goals are things like, for an intro poi class, you might have the goal for my students to have fun with poi on a first burn tonight. Or you might have as your goal for my students to learn some very clean, basic fundamentals that will, in a compartmentalized sort of way, build up to other moves. Those are going to yield two very different intro poi classes. And they're going to have a lot more focus than just one where all you do is say, these are a bunch of intro poi moves. It's going to provide focus. It's going to give you a much better class. Objectives are measurable ideas that you can see clearly whether or not your students are picking it up. So for instance, an objective would be that students can do pendulums. That's an objective. You can look at it and say, can that student do it or not? If they can't, objective not met. If they can, objective met. Students will be able to is a big phrase in this because you can see that they can do it. Another big thing about planning is that, well, sometimes your plans fall apart. That's not awesome, but it happens. Sometimes you have an unresponsive audience. Sometimes you have an audience that is way not as skilled as you need them to be. Sometimes you have an audience that is way more skilled than you wish them to be. And so you have to adjust on the fly. For this reason, I say plan at least 50% more material than you actually need, so that if you do need more material, you can have it. Make sure that you check out your space before you teach in it, because space is important. If you don't feel comfortable in your space, it's going to show. Your students aren't going to get as much. You can also move around. You can use the space to your advantage to get students' attention, all of that. Make sure you use all three basic kinds of assessment that you can have the teacher assess. You can also have them assess each other and help each other, and also people can assess themselves. Make sure you always know that the person that you're there for is the students. If you're ever doing something just for you, you're doing it wrong as far as teaching goes. Probably the same could be said for a lot of other things. You're there for your students. Don't stick to a lesson plan that isn't working for your students. Finally, we talked about a theory of multiple intelligences. The theory of multiple intelligences, Howard Gardner, 1983, look it up on Wikipedia. It's there and it's pretty helpful. Teaching is awesome. Go do it.